Sometimes we delve too deep, trying to shine the light of understanding upon things unknowable by a sane mind. The question is, once you know, do you reject it or embrace madness and delve deeper? So do you seek the truth of unknowable entities? Have you seen the violet side? And I forgot to unmute my mic, so let me start over. Indeed, foiled again. So, like I was saying, I was just finishing up the croissant. I wasn't actually eating a biscuit. Mickey J, thanks, and welcome to the live stream. In case you're new here, I'm Kabhaalytes, your favorite frightening, caffeinated cultist. What, I'm still muted? Ah, there we go. Perfect. But yes, I was finishing up my croissant, and I typed biscuit because I don't know how to spell croissant. I did at one point, but then I forgot. I suppose that's the, downside of being just a mess of shards of shattered sanity in service to eldritch deities from beyond. But I hope you're all having a Ghoul'd Wednesday morning. I almost said Monday. Apparently I have a DeLorean stashed away and I'm just traveling through time as I please. Vile, hello! Who all do we have in chat this glorious morning? We've got Seg, Eclipse, Lois, Gavino, Kessler, Corinthian, Armin, Lost, Dick, I see you're in there, Basil as well, Zams. Let's see, did I miss anybody else? Scroll through the chat. Let me see. I think I've got everybody so far. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be talking about a little something. Kyle, hello. How are you doing? But today we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to my tentacle entwined heart. Arashi, you made it! Perfect! Well, like I said, something near and dear to my tentacle entwined heart. MMO RPGs. In particularly, one called Ashes of Creation. You see, I've been following this game for, a little under a year at this point. It's something that I'm quite excited for. You're not scared at all, but you'll follow anyways. My name is P. Thanks for the follow, and welcome to the live stream. I hope you enjoy your stay here with all of my ghoulish guests. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Let's see, who else do we have stumble in? Cerebro! How's it going? You're super excited for the game, Kyle? Well, you know what? I am too. And today, I hope we can talk about it and my experience in the Alpha 1 so far. Haven't seen much about it besides the name. Game any good so far? Well, I have to say, last weekend I was in the Alpha 1 test, and the creative director and owner of Intrepid Studios was ever so kind as to lift the verbal NDA so content creators can talk about their experiences. Unfortunately, the visual NDA is still in effect, so I can't show any screenshots or footage. Not that I have any. Am I going to bring the cult of the violet sign into the world of Vera? Well, that's the plan, at least. This is your first look at Ashes, besides hearing about it a lot. Ah, well, perfect. I hope this will be an educational stream for everybody looking to delve into the depths of this particular petrifying game. Like I said, right now it's an Alpha 1, and it is quite the hefty price tag to get into it. And I will say this, it's an actual Alpha 1. There's a lot of bugs, there's a lot of things that are still not implemented. But I will say this, Intrepid Studios is doing quite the bang-up job on it. Well, let's not talk about that, P, because I definitely do not encourage breaking NDA. But I'm glad that you had a bit of a look at it. Lillian! Welcome to the Scream! It's good to see you! I hope you're having a Ghoul'd Wednesday. And indeed, I'm excited to talk about Ashes. I've been wanting to yammer on about this for, it feels like eons. But I finally get the chance and have a little bit of gameplay experience under my belt to back up my talk. Can't wait to hear about my time in it. We're going to advance. I swear that stream will never leave. I'll never be able to escape it. Well, unfortunately for the denizens of Vera, it's an open-world PvP game, so there really is the chance to get screwed over. Gavino, that's perfectly fine. I'm glad that you stopped by. You can always watch the VOD here on Twitch or on YouTube afterwards. But I hope you have a good rest of your day. Ah, there we go. Just a bit of a sip of coffee to get the gears turning. So, where do I start? You think you're gonna have to leave the P cult to join mine? Oh! 5 subs if I name myself Tactical Bad Dragon. Heck no. Besides, I don't have subs on Twitch because I'm a YouTube partner. And unfortunately, if I decided to pick up affiliate on Twitch, I wouldn't be able to stream on it and YouTube at the same time. So, it looks like I'm not getting those 5 subs anyways. You didn't expect that, it seems. You've been outplayed by a servant of the gaming gods. Don't worry, I'm a pro gamer, so it's expected. That's pro with quotes around it. Indeed, I did a bamboozle. Where do we start? Usually followed by in the beginning, during the before times. Well, you know, it's funny you say that because I did start covering Ashes of Creation in the before times. Before I discovered the great and wonderful world of VTubing. But I suppose that's to be expected because it didn't really pop off until a couple months after that when I went looking. Be like me, who joined over 10 plus cults and has only managed to leave one. If you're doing alright after joining 10 of them, I think you're a bit of a survivor, so you should be just fine. Even in the voracious world of Vera. When you think when the game becomes official, I could start a cult guild? Well, that's the plan at least, is to start a guild called the Violet Sign and see just what sort of mischief we can get up to. So actually, let's jump over to screen sharing, and there's something I want to show you. Actually, first, let me close that out. There we go. Let's see, there's 3 cults. 3 rat cults, 2 meme cults, a shrimp cult, and a cheese cult. Well, that's quite the diverse number of cults you're in. Time to start a guild in RuneScape called the Violet Sign. I haven't played RuneScape in years. I actually had a pretty decently high account, and then it got banned for apparently botting while I was killing rock crabs. Strangest thing. But, oh well, I had my fun with it. It's still a decent game. Let you guess, your mods become officers in the guilds too? We would have to see about that. I'm very much a, what's the term where people earn their positions? Am I really going to have to look this up? I can't remember it. Whatever, you get my drift. It is a nice looking wiki. The people that put together the Ashes of Creation wiki are actually real chads in my book. Whenever there's a live stream from the Intrepid Studios team, or any meritocracy, that's what it is. Meritocracy. Of course, it's not just who does the best, but it's also, who's going to be more personal and able to call shots. Just because somebody can help me moderate the stream doesn't necessarily mean they're a good shot caller for an MMO. And that's just the cut of it. Now, will my mods probably have a certain amount of authority? Yes, because I'm not going to be on all of the time. And I'll need people who've been with me for a while to look after the guild and make sure we don't get into, too much trouble. Because in the world of Vera, there's going to be ample opportunity for antagonistic actions. Nitrix, I don't think I've seen you before, have I? Or maybe my memory is just bad. In case I haven't, welcome to the live stream, and I hope you'll have a good time with us. But so, this is the Ashes of Creation wiki. The team that makes it is just, oh, so wonderful chads. Every time there's a live stream or new news update from Intrepid Studios, they manage to get it in here in a jiffy, and they've got references all over the place. Really, really, just a wonderful team. This is an evil cult who will be killing others because you don't like PK. Well, you know what? I'm not much for PvP myself. It has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I have trash reflexes and am ultimately very bad at PvP. Nothing at all. Not even close. I actually just want it to be something that the community can come together in, we can have fun with, because there's a lot of things that you'll be able to do in Vera. Well, there's a lot of things that are currently slated for you to be able to do in Vera. Besides just PvP. As a matter of fact, you can do things like buy property, create guild halls, or even taverns that will be able to be managed and have things like tavern games, kind of like, oh, if you've ever played Witcher, something, it'll probably have something like Gwent, or maybe even poker. We'd have to see. You see, that's the great thing about Ashes of Creation, in my opinion. Even though it's an open-world PvP game, there's going to be something for everybody. Due to the open-world PvP nature, it'll be more inclined to cater to groups and communities, which, lo and behold, we have a community. So everybody would have somebody to play with, which I think is a particular strength in and of itself. But anyways, one of the things I wanted to show, where is it? Let's go. Map. So, this is the world of Vera. As it's currently slated, this is more or less a rather rough map. It doesn't have all of the features and everything in it yet, but I can tell you that this game is slated to be huge. You're going to be a bartender, P? Bartending in an MMO sounds fun? You know, you're not the first person I've heard say that. And from everything that's said, that would be a perfectly okay playstyle. I'm very much of the opinion that Ashes is going to be a game where you can have your little plot of land, your tavern, or whatever, and you can never leave it and still have a fulfilling experience. So this is the map in and of itself. Quite the, huge little thing, I'd have to say. But here's the kicker. Where is it at? World size. The size of Vera is supposed to be 480 kilometers squared. Not only that, but the map itself is to be completely open world. No loading screens. You can run from one end of the map to the other. An open world PvP or both? It's both, Eclipse. It's a completely open world PvP MMO. You see ice and snow and you like it? You're looking forward to playing this with all of us. I'm looking forward to you playing it with us. You hope to be an adventurer, unless you take an arrow. Ah! Bad Skyrim reference! Bad Skyrim reference! Indeed, lots of room. How big those oceans are? Swimming across must suck. So, let me see if I can find this. Give me 1 second. Ah, here it is. Let me see. So, this was the map that we played on in Alpha 1. As you can see, it's got several small cities in it already. Speaking of which, those... It indeed is a very cool project. You played Arcade Unchained, and one of the things they allowed you to build was a submarine. I hope you can do that in this as well. Well, funnily enough, hey, how's it going? The owner of Intrepid Studios and the creative director, Stephen Sharif, was a guild leader for Arcade. Killer of the Darkness, thanks for the follow, and welcome to the Scream. I hope you'll have a good time here. In case you don't already know, I'm Cabal, your favorite frightening, caffeinated cultist, and hooded horror host. I talk about all things sinister and spooky. I also deal with gaming and content creation. One of you can create custom weapon blueprints and name them. Oh no, lost. But like I was saying before, the creative director Stephen Sharif not only is personally funding this MMO to completion. In fact, it's already completely funded from a, let's see, I want to say almost a $3 million Kickstarter and $40 million of his own revenue. You see, Stephen was a guild leader in Arcade. He's also played multiple other MMOs throughout the years and is a hardcore MMO gamer. So this is essentially the MMO made by a player that many of us have always dreamed of. Am I in any way, shape, or form related to... Oh god, what's her name? Samara! That's her name, Samara. No, I'm not related to Samara. Alfie! Hi, how are you doing? Are you not streaming today? You're eating cheesy pasta and chilling. Awesome! Well, I hope you can hang out with me. We're just talking about a game, an upcoming MMO called Ashes of Creation, and just some of the things that I'm anticipating out of it. Will it be free to play, or will it be buy to play? So, very full. One of the cool things that Intrepid Studios is doing is that, yes, Ashes of Creation will have a subscription model, but it will be the standard $15 a month, and there's no box cost. So essentially, you download the game, you play your subscription, and boom, you're in. And that's one of the cool things. And it's also something that they're really big on. Exactly, no box cost. So one of the things they're going to be doing is, and hold on to your hoods, Kabhaalytes, because I know this may be a loaded term, they're going to have a cash shop. And there you go, Kessler. Will it be pay to win is what you're afraid of. No. The creative director and owner of the studio has stated multiple times that he is completely against and hates pay to win. The cash shop for the game will be for cosmetics only. And most of those cosmetics will have alternate colors or something like that that's obtainable in-game, or something just as cool. Exactly. A cash shop for cosmetics, I think, is a wonderful idea, because everybody wants to look cool, but nobody wants to feel like somebody came in and dropped $100 and it suddenly has some of the best gear in the game. Indeed. If any of you don't know, Alfie is a dear friend of mine. She's a hard-working and extremely creative creator who I very much look up to, as she's been able to find her niche in the world of VTubing and make a name for herself. If I'm not online and she's on, I definitely suggest going and checking her out, because she's just a wonderfully entertaining person to watch. Alfie, you've shouted me out enough on your streams that I'm more than happy to do the same for you. You're a little worried about advantageous paid cosmetics to win? It's starting to get popular in these days. Marchin, hello! No, you haven't missed much. We're just talking about Ashes of Creation. Actually, let me see. Pay to win. Ah, there we go. Ashes of Creation will not be pay to win. And I believe this is actually a quote from Steven himself, the CEO of Intrepid Studios and the creative director. Ashes of Creation will not be pay to win. That is our pledge to the community. One of the core principles we set forth with Ashes is a very strong desire to maintain the game's even playing field. Dea, hello! Coming home and Kabba streaming. Spooky hello to everyone. Well, spooky hello to you too. So what do I think makes Ashes of Creation stand out from other games like WoW and such? Well, first off, they're going to have a 480 kilometer squared open world map. That's one of the things I definitely think is going to make it stand out. Secondly, the game world itself is going to change according to how players interact with it, because of a certain system called nodes. So basically what nodes are is there's 103 locations on the map that will start off as basically flatlands. And as players interact, do quests or things like that within the world, they will build up experience for that node or for that area. And as the experience builds up, that place will evolve. It'll start out as a small camp, and if players continue to build up that area, it will eventually, if they're fast enough, be able to build up into a sprawling metropolis, of which there can only be 5 on the map. Now, the thing with metropolis is, and nodes, is that as one levels up, all nodes can level up to level 3. At which point they're a small town, kind of like a foothold in the wilderness, you could say. But when nodes start to evolve beyond level 3, they start... No, wait. When they evolve to level 3, they lock other nodes around them from growing further. And as they grow further to stage 4, stage 5, and finally stage 6 is Metropolis, that zone of influence spreads and will lock down further nodes from evolving farther. But as that node grows, the ones around it will be able to a certain extent. So a level 6 node that is one of these sprawling metropolises will be able to have level 5 nodes of slightly smaller cities around them. And those slightly smaller cities will be able to have level 4 nodes around them, and then level 3 nodes around those, and so on and so forth, until everything's kind of like more or less level 2, or maybe just barren wilderness, who knows. You're gonna grab something to eat and you'll be right back. Grab something for the rest of the chat too. I'm just kidding. So how would that work for different servers? Well, one of the things that the Intrepid team has stated is that because of the node system, every server is going to be different. So if I play on, say, let's use the name from one of the Alpha 1 servers. Lilith. If I play on Lilith, and I decide, I don't like this server, and I transfer to another one, depending on how long that server's been up, the landscape and cities that are built up could be completely different. Exactly, until the world is saturated with settlements. But they'll only be able to be up to level 2, which will be a sort of like small, timber-walled kind of encampment. Not so much a city in and of itself. Imagine all 5 ending up on the same continent. So, one of the things, Lloyd, is that from what I've heard, the creative director runs a 1080 Ti in his computer. And the game is being optimized around 1080 Ti systems. So let's see, what were the minimum requirements, I think. And also, you have to realize this is... Wizzy! Hello! How are you doing? Norland best server? You get out of here with that. Chat, we have a heretic. Now you're very interested in the game. How much instability will it take? No, don't ban Wizzy. No, Wizzy is friend. Wizzy is antagonistic, but Wizzy is friend. I actually adore Wizzy. She's been with me in the channel for quite some time. Probably since around I first started creating Ash's content. I'm happy you're able to show up, Wizzy. It's good to see you in chat. Get that hammer out of here. You wonder if the mobs work the same way? Will the creatures change depending on what's hunted to extinction, etc., ecosystems and whatnot? Do we have any news on that? So, here's one of the cool things. Is apparently that as the nodes level up, the mobs around them will change as well. And apparently that's supposed to be affected by player choices. That's one of the big things about this game, and that I'm loving about it, is that the player's choices will shape the world. And if we make bad choices, oh, we're going to be in for a rough time. And there will be content that we'll lock ourselves out of by making certain choices. So it's not a game where you can do everything. You have to choose your path and then go down it. There's consequences to actions, which I think makes for a wonderful experience. It's something that you're really going to have to think on. And it's really going to make you remember those choices that you made. You're worried you haven't seen Bjorn? Maybe he's run out of puns for the week. He might very well be busy with his own content too, which I can't blame him. But indeed, so with the node system, not only is there going to be 103 different nodes on the entirety of that map that you can level up to various stages for various benefits, but the nodes in and of themselves will be of different types. There's actually going to be 4 different types of nodes. Divine nodes, which will be more religious-based. Economic nodes, where all of your cash money is made, and you'll be able to have big auction houses. Militaristic nodes, which will cater to the more bloodthirsty lot. And also, if they get to a metropolis, will allow the ability for bounty hunters to be unlocked. And scientific nodes, which will allow for fast travel throughout the world. Well, throughout their zone of influence through magical teleportation, or if there's 2 scientific nodes on the map, traveling between the 2 of them via an airship. Indeed, consequences to actions. So you took a peek at the classes in the game, and there is one called Cultist. Ah, I see somebody's been looking. So, let me see if I can find this. Is it NPCs? Reputation, banking, transportation, goods. That's not what I'm looking for. Where's it at? Maybe it was on the other page. I'm not quite sure. Here's somewhere. Anyways, so yes, as the node grows and choices are made within it, it will influence the area around it, including what mobs spawn, and even the unlocking of dungeons and raid bosses. So, one server might have a certain raid boss that's unlocked because of a node that's been built up, while another server may have a different raid boss or dungeons that's been unlocked because different nodes have been built up. Indeed, class variation is important. And so that's one of the things that I also kind of wanted to touch on about Ashes of Creation, is that this is, a lot of people are going to see the class list and say, oh my gods, how are they going to balance it? Well, the plan is to balance it around, what was it? I think an 8-person group. Instead of individual one-on-one balancing, because it is going to be a heavy community game. You can all be cultists in your hearts. Indeed, everybody can be a cultist in their heart. Speaking of classes, let's take a look at the class chart. So, in Ashes of Creation, you've got something called archetypes. And archetypes are essentially your... Oh, look, it's Stephen! Hello, Stephen! This is our glorious leader, Stephen Sharif, the Sandal Lord, and a billionaire nerd who's funding this project out of his own coffers. But so, you'll have your 8 archetypes. Now I wanted to click on the picture. Let me see the picture. Alright, never mind. I guess we'll just look at this. So, we have our 8 archetypes. Bard, Cleric, Fighter, Mage, Rogue, Summoner, and Tank. That is 8, right? For a second I thought there was 7. My eyes are playing tricks on me. It is a lot of classes, so here's the kicker. You'll have your base archetype, which will be one of these 8. And once you level to a certain point, I think it was around level 25 is what it's proposed to be at the moment. I think it's level 20 or 25 is when you'll be able to choose a second archetype of Bard, Cleric, Fighter, Mage, Ranger, Rogue, Summoner, Tank, blah, 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 blah. Now, that will mix with your base archetype, and it will change it. It will change the abilities. Not completely, it'll still be relatively the same abilities, but it will give it a different feel, different sort of mechanics to it. So say the example that's always given is a fighter. Now, a fighter is going to have a charge by default, right? I mean, what fighter wouldn't have a charge by default? So, normally, a charge is activated and you run towards your target. Now, if that fighter chooses Mage as their secondary, what's going to happen is they'll probably have the ability to mix that charge with a blink. So no longer do they charge in a straight line, being able to be pelted by arrows or run into obstacles. They'll blink to the target. Or, if they choose to augment it with a type of fire spell, they'll leave a burning path behind them and probably cause fire damage when they hit. Indeed, that's going to be the hard part, is picking what you want. I can honestly say right now, I've had my eye on 2 classes. The Rogue Summoner, aka the Shadow Lord, because, who doesn't like a bit of edge? Or the Rogue Ranger, because if I can be like a predator, oh, that would be too good. I'm going to hunt down all of the want-to-be Arnold Schwarzeneggers. I could just imagine having a ranged weapon, popping out of a cloak and just decimating somebody. Don't I have to be a rogue cleric? You know, a cultist? Bjorn! I see you made it. Well, not necessarily. I may try it out. That's going to be one of the good things about being an alpha and beta tester, is I'll be able to try a good deal of these out and figure out really what fits my playstyle. Not only that, but I'll be able to gather up that information and disperse it to the rest of the cult of the Violet Sign. So you'll all kind of have an idea of what's good, what's not, to your particular playstyle. Ranger X Ranger, you want to be an Avenger. Bjorn, assemble! I really am glad that they named that one Hawkeye. Like, I feel like that one was done on purpose. Like, it's just, there's so many nerds on the Intrepid team that a couple of them at least have to be Marvel fanboys. So they were like, Ranger X Ranger? That's Hawkeye. Exactly, Raza. It's going to be extremely customizable, and not just in abilities as well. But we're going to have active skills. Now, this is a placeholder. This isn't going to be like, oh, these are all of the active skills that we have. No, this is like to level 15 at the moment. But you'll have active skills, you'll have weapon skills, and you'll have passive skills. And you'll be able to invest your points into to kind of build however you want. So if I want to go heavy on weapon procs or something like that, I can invest a good chunk of my points into weapon skills. I can have a lot of weapon procs and maybe a couple abilities that play off of weapon procs. And just a smattering of passive skills. What I'm hoping for is that one of the things you'll be able to do is build things like regen or regeneration tanks, or maybe even mana battery mages, because here's one of the kickers, right? Is that I played a mage in Alpha 1 last weekend. Two of the abilities they have are, one, an HP drain that drains enemy HP and transfers it into mana, and another ability is their ability to transfer mana to another player. So if you want to be a support mage that's literally just a mana battery, and you delve heavy into those two particular abilities, and heavy into, let's say, mana regen or mana pool or something like that, you can theoretically play a mana battery mage that is simply there to just pump mana into healers or whatever class else needs it. Indeed, a support mage. Like, what do you do? What's your DPS? I don't do DPS. I feed mana to the entire raid. That is my job. I make sure people have mana. If that's what you want to do, you'll probably be able to do it. Nitrix, I hope you have a good time. Thanks for stopping by. Indeed, there's going to be so much customization in this game, and yes, it'll probably take a while for everything to be hashed out, but here's the thing. An MMO usually takes about 7 to 8 years to reach completion. Ashes of Creation at this point is, I want to say about 6 years into development, and they're on Alpha 1. Exactly. My DPS is whatever extra DPS you could do with the mana I give you. So you can have a super high consumption fire mage who just cranks out DPS. But the mana is pretty garbage. And you have your mana battery mages that are able to maybe feed 2 or 3 of them. Well, now you've got these 3 super high DPS fire mages, and you've got the mana battery mage feeding the 3 of them. Yes, you could have, let's say, 4 super high DPS bursty fire mages, but they're going to run out of mana really quick. So they're going to need that support mage to be able to maintain that that ballistic barrage of fireballs. That sounds familiar, like Camelot Unchained's beta. Did Camelot Unchained finally hit beta? Okay. So story time. I really like the premise of Camelot Unchained. In fact, I adore the premise of Camelot Unchained. I love their classes, I love their races, but I followed that game for years, and it was always, we're going to hit beta or something, and I got tired of waiting. And when I finally did get tired of waiting is when I stumbled across Ashes. Now this was, who all in the chat knows of Lazy Peon? If you don't know of Lazy Peon, I'm honestly surprised. Oh, it's a beta, but there's still nothing there. What I can say about Ashes, last weekend I played their Alpha 1. Their Alpha 1, their work in progress, Alpha 1, is better than betas that I've played in, and the game is set to release in a week. Yes, there were bugs in this Alpha 1. Like at one point, I was swimming through the ocean, And I jumped, and I started to swim through the air. Legitimately swim through the air. I'm flying through the air, but with a swimming motion. But this Alpha 1 was more polished than betas I've played in. Honestly, the fact that they call it an Alpha 1 at all is breeding so much hope in me for the game. It's just the level of response that they're capable of and the work and dedication they've put into it, even with global situations, is astounding. Every time... Alright, let me preface with this. Ashes and Intrepid Studios have had their moments where they've stumbled, where they've made, one could say, questionable decisions. But, every time they've stumbled, they've been able to come back better and stronger. Here's the thing, like I said, they're still 6 years into development, well within the window for MMORPGs. They have had to rebuild the back end of this game a couple times because unforeseen bugs have popped up as they've progressed in it. So they've had to clear out a bunch of work, go back, rebuild a system so it works the way they want, and then build back up to where they are. They've done this, I want to say 2 or 3 times, because that's development. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, you should have known that was going to happen. Anybody who's worked on any sort of game or handled any sort of code knows that sometimes things just aren't obvious until it's running and you've added in another system and then, oh my god, this doesn't work, and you have to go back and change a bunch of crap. Intrepid has had to do that 2 or 3 times, and every time they've made the game a little bit better. Let me get a little bit of water for a second. I'm doing an impassioned ramble about this, and my throat's kind of getting a little bit dry. I finished off my coffee already. Uh-oh. Am I still going? My Streamlabs is saying that the stream just died? Is the stream still going? Oh, I'm good. I'm still here. All right. Well, that's weird. My OBS is just like, oh, offline. And I'm like, oh no. Ah, there it goes. I guess it was just updating. It might be the internet or something like that. We had a bit of a storm last night, so the internet may be a bit funky. All right, so we're still going. YouTube was having some terrible issues last night. YouTube was having some terrible issues last night. I was trying to watch a video on Warhammer 40k about the new Adeptus Mechanicus release, and I just could not get a video to play, and I was like, I want to see the leaks. I want to see the leaks. But it wouldn't play, so I had to watch it today while I was getting ready for stream. You work in IT and almost did not get my master's degree because the inspector was unable to figure out the project I submitted. Did not work on his laptop, so he thought it didn't work at all. Sometimes it's like that. My chat broke, though. It doesn't appear to update. It looks like chat's updating. Is it not updating on Twitch? Can somebody on YouTube type something? Oh, okay. Because I'm seeing Restream bot is sending the messages to YouTube. All right. It's Vtubers and Scuff. Is there a more iconic duo? I'm weird, I'm a weirdo. I don't want to fit in, I don't want to fit in. But there's always a place for weirdos in the cult of the violet sign. Yep, it seems that everything's working again. All right. What was I saying? Something, something, Ashes of Creation, something, something, fanboy, something, something, Stephen Sharif, $40 million. Oh, Camelot Unchained and 40k Mechanicus. So yeah, YouTube was having issues last night. But anyways, so I was following Camelot Unchained for years and excited for it, and then nothing really came of it. So what happened is I was like, all right, well, I want to find an MMO. I've played World of Warcraft. You know, City of Heroes and City of Villains is dead because, oh gods, did I ever used to play City of Heroes and City of Villains? I adored that game, and I'm glad there's private servers for it out now. Unfortunately, I can't stream those because it's against TOS. But what can you do? But so I was waiting on Camelot Unchained, and it just really, nothing really happened in the couple years that I was waiting for it. So you can take down the Cat Boys of Final Fantasy XIV. You know, I feel like Steven has said this before as well. Ashes isn't supposed to be a WoW killer. It's not supposed to, you know, take over Final Fantasy XIV. Ashes is something for the more, I guess you could say old school crowd, maybe? It's an MMO for boomers! No, not quite. It's an MMO where your choices are going to actually matter. Where your choices will shape the world around you, not just your character. And that's something I feel like I've really been looking for. So like all of us have seen the amazing animes with MMOs where players can literally change the world and what goes on in it and things like that. I feel like Ashes is sort of the realization of that dream with what we have at the moment. Is it a full dive? No. I don't think we're going to see full dive for like decades, if that. That's going to be quite a bit of technology if we ever get that far. But the fact that this will be a world... See you later, Tick. Hope you get what you need to taken care of. Exactly, it's for the more immersive crowd who likes collaborative, competitive efforts. Lois, you got to go? Well, have a good time. Thanks for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. Hope to see you around more. Sword Ashes online? Not quite. Destroys the world. Can't change the world if there's no world to change. Exactly. It's an MMO for the dedicated. It's for people who really want to have something to sink their time into or really be a part of community efforts. Feel like they're really, I suppose, part of the world. Because here's the thing, is you'll be able to build up these cities and you'll be able to raise them into metropolises. Oh, look, it's Steven again. Hi, Steven. But you also be able to do this. Player housing. Now, here's the kicker. Cities, nodes of level 3 or above will have plots of land inside of the city that you will be able to purchase for player housing. Now, there's going to be a couple types of player housing. There's going to be the plots that you can actually purchase and customize. There's going to be apartments, which will be sort of like how they are in Final Fantasy XIV, instanced housing, basically. And you'll go into the apartment building, and you'll go into your room. And you'll be able to customize that, put down your furniture and everything. And the thing that they're saying they want to do is that they want players to be able to have 1, storage within their housing. 2, workstations within their housing where they can do their crafting. And 3, things that they can put in their house to have certain buffs. Ah, yes, the millennial dream of owning property in this economy. There you go. Owning property simulator. Will I be creating my own server? What do you mean? Will we be creating a guild on the server? Hold on a second, let me catch up on chat. I'm talking. It certainly sounds a bit more immersive crowd. Got to go now, it's already Thursday in my time zone. Where the grifters destroy everything you build when you're offline. So, we'll get to that in a second, Marchin. But that's actually a pretty good talking point. Owning property? What's that like? Can you eat it? Never heard of it before. Both? No, both won't. They'll have dedicated servers. They'll have dedicated servers. I am looking at creating a guild. There's a community that I am a part of called Axiom. And they're a wonderful, wonderful community. And at first, before I really got into content creation and found all of you wonderful people, I was thinking about joining their community. But the sad fact of the matter is that I'm a content creator. Not only that, but I'm also a live streamer. And I do want to stream this game. Now, the thing is that this game is going to be full of political intrigue, and it's going to be one that's going to be, let's say, interesting to stream. Yeah, let's say interesting. Interesting is a good word, because here's the thing. Anybody who's streaming this game is, 1, going to be revealing everything that they do in this game, other people. 2, painting a target on our backs. So with Axiom, they're wanting to establish a really dedicated community. Like, good gods, the community leaders for that community are just utter chads. Hats off to them. But I think I'll have to establish my own guild instead of joining theirs. Still be friendly, because I do have a lot of friends that are in that community, but probably have to run my own, just because of my particular situation. Of course you can eat it. Oh, there was definitely quotes around that interesting. When I say interesting, I mean more of a pain in the rear. It's going to be difficult to do things, get things accomplished while streaming. But I feel like if I'm at the helm of my own community, and we're specifically engineered to work around that we can make it possible. Not only that, but make ourselves relevant. Hard mode? You like hard mode? Bring it on. Exactly. That's pretty much what it's going to be. There'll be things we can do while I'm offline, but whenever I'm online, essentially it's going to be, hey, look at what we're doing. You're going to pretty much be privy to everything that's going on. I think it's a lot of people's dreams at this point, Chase. Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be stream snipers, Armin. And that's one of the things I'm looking towards gearing against. So one of the things I'll have to do while I'm streaming this game is that I'll probably have to run the stream at a delay. Now, does that mean all of my actions are going to be delayed? It's something I'll have to figure out. I have a friend who's a facecam streamer. In fact, I think I've talked about him before. His name is Fane, and he is a wonderful Ashes of Creation content creator. He's figured out a way to delay the stream footage, but not delay the chat or the streamer. And I'll have to work with him to get that up and running, because if we can delay the footage by, let's say, 20 or so minutes, then that should be enough time for us to kind of deal with any stream snipers. Or even set up ambushes. Exactly. The name of the game is sniping the stream snipers. So, one of the things that I want to do with Ashes of Creation is there's a lot of content creators that are vying for the position of, I'm an expert on this game. I am an authority on this game. I am, blah, blah, blah. Is Icy Veins still relevant with WoW? I'm the Icy Veins of Ashes of Creation. There's going to be a lot of people vying for that title. Me? No. I'm a meme lord at best. I like my videos theatric, fast-paced, things like that. We'll need coded comms. We'll also need a reverse ambush squad. That'd be amazing when the stream snipers come to gank, and we'll counter gank them almost immediately. Exactly. And it's that kind of intrigue, that kind of planning and action that I think is really going to make not only streaming Ashes of Creation, but having a community in Ashes of Creation be great. Because, think about it. When was the last time you played a game where that was something that you really actually had to deal with? Not just, I'm in a PvP area. The entire world is a PvP area. And you have to do that planning, that coordination. You're kind of on your toes the entire time. That sense of adrenaline of when it finally happens. Ultima Online? That was a long time ago. I think you might have dated yourself, Wizzy. But yes, Wizzy's essentially right. It's been a long time since something like that happened. Ooh, Warhammer Online was a good one too. I hated in Warhammer Online when a witch hunter would pop out and would pistol whip me and then proceed to put a musket ball between my eyes. Exactly. You could be a Batman style character that protects noobs from gankers. Speaking of which, Bean, how's it going? You're just getting in? Well, welcome to the screen. I was just talking Ashes of Creation, and we're actually about to move on to the subject of PvP and the PvP system. Let me just type this in. So, Ashes has a particularly interesting system for the PvP flagging, and we're going to take a look at it. So there's 3 states in Ashes of Creation. Non-combatant. You're going along, doing whatever you want, you haven't attacked anybody, yada yada. You're not really PvP. That's a non-combatant. You're green. Combatants are somebody who is flagged for PvP. You essentially... you can't log out when you're flagged. Ah. Here we go. Here's a nice little chart I was waiting to pop up. So, all players start as non-combatants. So, oh, wait a second. Let me do this. Capture my cursor. There we go. Aha! Now you can see. So everybody starts out as a non-combatant. You'll be able to toggle your abilities to be non-forced. So you can like throw down an AoE and it like hits a mob, but there's somebody else attacking this mob and it's not going to hit that person. Now, when you flag as a combatant, essentially your abilities will become forced. I think. Don't quote me. Spooky Dookie, thanks for the follow, and welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a Ghoul'd Wednesday. I don't think I've seen you around before. In case you're new here, I'm Kabhaal, your favorite frightening, caffeinated cultist, and hooded horror host, your favorite spooky storyteller. Ah, so you're not new. It seems my reputation precedes me. I'm sorry you had to hear about it. So essentially, yes, when you flag or you attack another player, you become a combatant. People that heal or buff combatants will also be flagged as combatants. Players who attack as combat attack with combat pets, because yes, there will be pets, will also become combatants. Oh, you won't become a non-combatant for looting bodies. That's a good thing. Players can kill combatants without repercussions and are encouraged to do so, since dying while combatant will reduce death penalties. So, that's one of the kickers right there. You're incentivized to flag yourself for PvP for a couple reasons. 1. When you die in Ashes of Creation, you will receive XP debt. Now, for those who hear XP debt, you may be thinking, what was it? EverQuest? I think it was EverQuest. Essentially, you would die, you get XP debt, and you could de-level. Now, Ashes, you won't be able to de-level, but you will build up XP debt that you'll have to clear to continue leveling at a normal speed. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, that you'll have to clear to continue leveling. The second thing that will happen when a player dies is that players will be able to drop resources and gatherables that they're carrying. Not gold, but like say you're out on a logging mission or you're out killing mobs for their drops that you're going to use as materials for crafting or something like that. When you're killed as a non-combatant, you will drop a greater portion of those items than you will as a combatant. So you're incentivized to flag and fight back. Effectively lose XP without actually losing XP? Just don't gain XP until debt is cleared? Actually, let me see. If it's in here. And I accidentally just sang a little bit. I'm sorry about that. I don't think it's in the wiki yet. I'm not sure if you acquire debt that you'll have to clear before you continue leveling, or if it's... Yeah, I'm not sure, but you do acquire debt that you do have to clear. I'm not sure if it will deduct your XP that you've gathered already, because I only died once in the alpha, and I died shortly after I leveled, so I couldn't really test it. I'm not big on debt, so I did my best to kind of avoid it. I wanted to test out bugs and things like that. But anyways, back to flagging. So, essentially, yes, you're incentivized to flag and fight back if you're attacked. Now, here's the kicker. Players can flag, and they can kill non-combatants to get that extra bit of loot that the non-combatants will drop. But, if you kill a non-combatant, you're going to become what's called corrupted. And there's a special thing for corrupted players. Corrupted players are very much what we've seen in the genre multiple times. They're red players. They're PKers who go out and they're, oh, it's a green name, I'm gonna kill it and take its stuff. So what happens with corrupted players is that, yes, you can go out and you can gank newbies all day long. You can run up to the Vale of Ashes equivalent of Goldshire and just start a bloodbath. But you're going to become corrupted. And when you become corrupted, what eventually happens is, 1, your stats will slowly decrease. 2, you will show up on the map to bounty hunters. Bounty hunters are a role that players will be able to pick up from a military metropolis. And essentially what that will do is let them track red players on maps. 3, if you become corrupted enough, you will eventually get to the point where you can drop items that you're wearing. I'm fairly certain it's the one where you can't earn XP until the debt is cleared. But don't quote me on it. I could be wrong. I'll have to test it in the upcoming alpha tests. Exactly. Stop right there, criminal scum. You violated the law. But yes. So, the more corrupt you become, the lower your stats will go until eventually those newbies will be able to kill you. And corruption doesn't go away over time. You have to clear it by questing or going out and grinding mobs. Very, very true to what we see in animes and mangas and things like that, which I'm a huge fan of. So you can go out and you can be a slaughter of all things player, but there's a price to pay. It's discouraged to kill anybody who's a non-combatant. You can, and you'll be able to get loot from them, so there is rewards to it. But you're going to be corrupted. Bounty hunters will probably be on the lookout for you because they'll reap rewards. So, so here's the thing, Marchin, is yes, your stats will slowly be lowered, but it's not going to be an instantaneous thing. And losing your equipment isn't going to be an instantaneous thing either. Essentially, if you do go on a killing spree and your name is red as can be because it's just soaked in the blood of thousands, yes, you'll probably wind up, being able to drop equipment. But here's the thing. Those bounty hunters that will be able to track you down, when they go to fight you, red players will be at full strength versus bounty hunters. Exactly. It discourages people who are to go out and just hunt down anybody who isn't flagged. And because of the way the bounty hunter system works, it makes it so the red players can be tracked by people who want to be those red player hunters, but it's not going to be an unfair fight. Sounds like you get an incentive to fight higher level non-combatants to get their better loot. Well, I say essentially yes. Ah, see? Yeah. I agree that's a pretty good system. Let the red players and the bounty hunters duke it out, but, keep people from going just crazy red. There are downsides to it. So, yeah, maybe you go super ham and you've gotten to the point that the newbies can kill you, but you're a veteran player and you're able to juke them due to skill. That bounty hunter finds you and decides to fight you. Well, you're back at full power because you're facing down a bounty hunter. So, if the bounty hunter kills you, it wasn't a fair fight. And if you lose equipment, well, that's the price you paid. But here's the thing. You've been killing those combatants the entire time and getting loot off of them. Not the equipment that they're wearing, but things they've gathered, crafting materials, things like that, which you can, if you're able to get away, turn around and sell for probably not too bad a profit. Time to organize a posse to take down non-combatants to come with you on every bounty hunter job. See? There you go. There's that planning, that thought process that goes into it. So you could have a bounty hunter leading a group of people who are not bounty hunters. They're non-combatants or even combatants. Or no, I think it's non-combatants. I'm not sure. I have to look more on that. Will those red players be able to do things in town? I'm not sure. Let's see. May kill bounty hunters without acquiring additional corruption score. 60-second timer while logged out. I don't see any restriction on it. I'm not sure if it's really been specified yet. I would think that because they're a red player, town guards or something like that may try to attack them. But I'm not certain on it. Because here's the thing is there really are no factions in the game. Not like a lot of other MMOs where, oh, I'm going to go in this area and, this faction's guards are attacking me because I'm not this faction. No, there are no factions. There's just the different races and all the factions will probably all of the, I would say any notable factions that we see pop up will be of player creation. There's going to be in-game quote-unquote factions, like the good faction and the bad faction, but it'll be more of kind of like the protagonists versus the antagonists. And you can't really, to my knowledge, as of yet, join the side of the antagonists. Is it allowed to kill in towns? Don't know yet. Actually, you know what? I'll keep an eye on that. I'll ask around and see if we can find out. I feel like if you fight in a town, that the NPC gods will try to step in. I imagine the restriction would be more in town. There's more people who could gang up on you and butcher you in the streets. See, that's what I'm thinking as well. Now, here's something I thought was pretty interesting. And this isn't in the game. I haven't heard any of it being mentioned by the devs. But this is something that I think would be very interesting to see. Would be if red players could acquire an armor set or something like that. And it's a crappy armor set. Like, it has next to no benefits for it. But what it does is it can hide your red status so you can go into towns. People can still click on you. They can attack you. But it hides your red status. Makes you look like, I don't know, let's say a flag player. A combatant. I think that would be something interesting. Oh, exactly, like a rogue's disguise. Something like that. It's a crappy armor set. You don't get any benefits out of it except for hiding your red status. And even then, it'd probably have crap durability. So, like, if somebody does attack you, they get a couple swings in, that stuff is going to break. If there was something like that, but it was one, incredibly rare, so it became expensive. Two, had very, very low, if any, stats. And three, had crappy durability. I'd be like, that would be an interesting thing. Because if you're in town and you see somebody flagged as a non-combatant, you're going to be like, why are they flagged as a non-combatant? True, Bjorn. Now, one of the things is that Ashes of Creation is going to have a cosmetic system. Essentially, a transmog. Let's go ahead and call it transmog for familiarity's sake. They're going to have a transmog system, and I feel like something like that, you'd probably be able to transmog the armor to look like something else. It doesn't provide any stat boosts or anything like that, and it does play into the concept of a rogue's disguise. But, you know, like I said, idea. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it would be cool, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think they want to keep red players as unobfuscated as possible. Maybe it only works if you avoid the guards? Oh, that could be another thing. Is that it may fool the guards, but a red player would still pop up on a bounty hunter's map. So you could be, oh, look, it's a purple guy. The guards don't bother me. That bounty hunter is going to be like, why your icon red on the map then? Ooh, excuse me, let me stretch a little bit. Exactly. I know your face. It's actually getting a little bit warm in here. Give me a second. Let me turn on a fan. All right, I hope you can't hear that fan in the background. Honestly, you would prefer the Reds outside of cities. There needs to be a safe spot for those who vehemently hate gankers. So, no, you can hear my huge... Yawn, are you messing with me? So, alright, perfect. So I do believe there will be non-PvP areas. I'm fairly certain that... Wait a second. Guilds aren't allowed to infiltrate their members into enemy nodes. Otherwise, if the guild moves in on that node, their own agents are flagged as enemies. I'm not quite sure what you're getting at, Marchin. I do believe that there's going to be quite a bit of political intrigue. There's going to be people who are going to be joining big guilds just to be moles for other guilds. I have no doubt about that. And I don't think guilds can own nodes. What guilds can own, however, are castles. You see, castles are a different type of node. I think there's only going to be 5 of them. Where are you seeing that, Marchin? Because I'd be interested to read that as well. A character may only be a member of a single guild. Alts on the same account can join different guilds. Intrigue, espionage, and intelligence gathering is a legitimate aspect of the game. A guild may only have a single guild leader. Transfer of guild leadership is possible. The mechanics of transferring leadership if a guild has abandoned the guild, if a leader has abandoned the guild, have not been finalized. Last page under the description of affiliations. There's no citizenship. Can you DM me that link on Twitch? Because I have no idea what you're talking about, and I can't seem to find it. It's just me being thick-headed, I suppose. Shall invade enemy guilds and make them witness the violet sign. Well, you know what? That sounds like a pretty cultist thing to do. Oh wait, Martin, you're on YouTube. You can just send it to me and it's right there. There's node citizenship. There's guild. There's alliance, there's party, there's raid, there's family. All these types of affiliations have a hierarchy. The highest of which is your node affiliation. So your citizenship is your greatest superseding relationship, which means if you're part of a guild, the guild has multiple nodes in which its members are citizens. If there's war between two of those nodes, the members of those nodes would be first and foremost citizens who defend that node, even against their own guild members. All these things have a hierarchy, and within that hierarchy, there's the ability to participate in certain systems. So what did you say before? Guilds aren't allowed to infiltrate their members into enemy nodes. Otherwise, if the guild moves in on that node, their own agents are flagged as enemies. So, I get what you're saying now. So, you can be... How can I say this? That's going to take some coordination on the guild's part. If a guild member wants to settle and become a citizen of a different node, I'm going to assume most of the time it's going to be a node that the guild is either A, going to be mainly basing out of, or B, one that that guild member knows is of interest to the guild and wants to, how do you say this? Keep an eye on it. Yes, there will be downsides if that guild decides to lay siege to that node, because that is a thing. Guilds and organizations will be able to acquire what are, I think at the moment, called siege scrolls. And they'll be able to build up their resources and lay siege to a city, a metropolis, or whatever. And essentially what that does is if the siege is successful, it will de-level that node and destroy a bunch of stuff in it. That winning faction will also be able to loot storage in that node that they've laid siege to successfully. But yes, I think that I get what you're saying. And essentially, yes, if your guild decides to attack the node that you're a citizen of, you'll be flagged as a defender of that node automatically. I'm not sure if you can opt out of it. But at the same time, if your guild decided to attack that node, I feel like you'd already be aware of it. It's an interesting system, and the infiltration only applies to war times. During peace times, you don't think there'll be the same designating of enemies and such. Exactly. You're only going to be designated as an enemy if there's an ongoing siege. It sounds like taking over nodes isn't a thing, just pillaging them. So the idea... So, you can take over a node, because whatever guild is a patron, quote-unquote, of a node, is decided by their contribution to the node. So if there's one guild that is just, they do all of their activities within this node, I think they're going to wind up becoming the patron. And they'll get certain benefits. But, the different types of nodes, because remember, there's 4 different types: scientific, divine, military, scientific, divine, military, and economic all have different electoral systems because players can be elected to the leadership position of that node in different styles depending on the node. For a militaristic node, it's going to be a by proxy arena style where players will have champions that they'll raise, equip, things like that, and they'll battle for the position of mayor. As for being double agents, even if you can't opt out of defending, there's a certain power that comes from willfully not complying with helping and instead just being a huge distraction. Exactly. If, let's say, there's 200 people in a node, right? 50 of those people are agents of the guild that's sieging that node. Well, now the effective defenders of that node have just been cut down by a fourth. And depending on the size of that guild, because I think guilds can go up to 300 members. If it's a fully staffed guild, they're basically outnumbered 2 to 1. That's going to be a pretty hard fight, even with defenses and NPCs to help them. Oh, what was I saying before? Yeah, exactly. Mayors of nodes. Here we go. So, for each node, there's going to be an electoral system. And the different node types will have different electoral systems. I already said the military one, where it's trial by combat via a proxy champion. On economic nodes, it's essentially a battle of the stock market. The person with the biggest purses wins. Shaco! Glad you're able to make it! One second, let me check something. All right. Looks like I'm not the only one who's streaming Ashes of Creation at the moment. So what's the system for divine nodes? So the system for divine nodes is essentially, from what I've told, divine nodes are currently the most mysterious of all the nodes. We don't know a lot about them yet. We don't know their benefits, their node superpowers, or anything like that. So here we go. Divine node governments are chosen from citizens via service-oriented quests that prove faith and dedication to the node. Most of the devotion-oriented tasks are going to be on an individual basis and won't utilize outside support. So essentially, you're probably going to have to do a bunch of quests that prove your dedication to the node. The person who's able to do more of those will wind up becoming the, I guess, the Pope of the node. I wonder if you get a cool Pope hat. Oh, could you imagine that? I'm the mayor of this divine node. Behold my glorious hat. It notes my station. So, scientific nodes are going to be the popular vote system. Those are the ones where basically the playership will be able to vote for who they want to be leader. I feel like those are going to be the content creators or guild leaders who are going to wind up becoming mayors of scientific nodes. There's a fame or something similar like faith or reverence stat. Sounds like that'll do. So, one of the things is that not only will there be things like governments, but there will also be organizations in the game. Not just player organizations, but actual organizations of the world. And what I mean by that, like, there will be thieves guilds, there will be merchants guilds, things like that that are run by NPCs. And by growing in influence in those, you'll be able to unlock certain benefits. Now, alongside these social organizations, there's also going to be religious organizations. So far in Vera, there's the 7 gods. As to just exactly what the gods are at the moment, I'm not quite sure. Let's actually look that up. Here we go. The gods in Ashes creation represent different aspects of the universe and feelings as well. The goddess of love, the goddess of creation, the goddess of fate, the god of hope, and the god of truth. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so there's 5 regular gods, and you'll be able to delve into the religions and receive certain benefits from them. The same as social organizations, apparently. Don't quote me on it. Not an expert. Just a meme lord. But essentially, you'll be able to delve into that organization, build a reputation, receive certain benefits, and apparently you'll also be able to receive certain abilities depending on your influence within that religion. So you may get an ability that somebody else may not have if they're not part of that religion. What I'm waiting for, however, is more information on the others. You see, in the world of Vera, the Pantheon was once... was it 8 in total? Yeah, no. There were 10 gods in total. We currently only know 5 of them, but there are 7 who are good, or quote-unquote good, and then there's 3 who basically broke away from the Pantheon, known as the Others. What I'm hoping for, and this isn't confirmed, it's just my, little bit, huffing a little bit of hopium, is that these 3 others will essentially be evil religions. Bone Miser! How's it going? Why, thank you. I do fancy myself as being a handsome individual. I'm glad that you noticed. But anyways, so what I was saying before is I'm hoping that these 3 other gods will also have religions that you'll be able to work your way into and get benefits from. Essentially, a darker path to power. Now, is that a certain thing? No, but the devs have alluded that there are darker paths to power, so I'm guessing... I'm gonna say that's a pretty safe bet. If you're true... Hold on a second. Betrayer, Outer Gods? Would be really cool if that's the case. See, I know, right? Especially if one of them is Lovecraftian in theme. Oh, Oh, sign me right up. If they take the form of, like, outer cosmic entities, oh boy. You just want an evil god to put your faith into. But who is the goddess of memes? So is one of the gods going to be designated as the representative of the gaming gods? We'll just have to see and find out. So one of the things about Steven is that he's keeping a lot of the lore and stuff like that under his hat. So we don't know a lot about the setting and the gods just quite yet. Alright, now I'll read your comment, Chase. If you truly are considering streaming this game, you'd love to grab the game yourself and join the guild. You don't have any sort of MMO, though you used to play WoW when you were little, so you know how it works. You know what? I'd appreciate if you'd like to join us. If you want to join us in the Discord community, you can hang out there until this game goes live. It's definitely something that I'm looking forward to getting into. And I do intend to stream it and have a community around it. Well, if you look under the Necromancer class, in the wiki at least, they have a note in the description that you can choose good or evil, and your options change depending if you missed it. I think I did miss that part. Ooh, good and evil necromancers? Interesting. Excuse me. Like I've said, I've been following this game for a while, but the thing is when the channel blew up and we like breached over 2,000 subscribers over on YouTube, I kind of had to take a break from it. That and there wasn't really a lot of information that wasn't already covered coming out of it. Oh, you just joined 10 minutes ago. Well, welcome to the Discord, and welcome to the Cult of the Violet Sign. I'm glad you've heard the call of the gaming gods, and I'll look forward to seeing your devotion in action. No, but really, thanks for joining the community. It's always good to see new blood coming in. I hope you'll enjoy your stay. So when is this game scheduled to release? So that's the kicker, Eclipse. There is no scheduled release. I would say a safe bet is between 15 and 24 months. Bartik! Oh, what are you doing? Crawling around in the shadows. I'm glad you're able to make it out. Are you planning on streaming today? For those of you who don't know, Bartik is a wonderful fellow creator. He creates contents around Ashes of Creation as well. If I'm not on, definitely I suggest going and giving him a watch. If we could get a shout out for him, I'd greatly appreciate that. Nice with new blood, I don't mind the stains. Bjorn, I hate it. You have D&D later? Getting some YouTube videos up. Ah, the old YouTube upload grind. I've got to finish the video that I'm working on. I'm probably going to work on that after the stream. Well, I mean it's because theoretically, right? You can choose good or evil for your necromancer, which is a rogue cleric. Kinu, hello, and welcome to the Scream. I don't think I've seen you around before. In case you don't know, I'm Cabal, your favorite frightening, caffeinated cultist and hooded horror host. I also deal in all things sinister and spooky, gaming, and content creation for those looking to break into the field. What's in my cup? Coffee! I'm not your favorite frightening caffeinated cultist for nothing. You too? Great taste. You've been subbed to me on YouTube for so time. You got so excited seeing me live. Well, I'm glad you can make it out. You can always watch me on YouTube as well. Never feel bad if you can't make it, though. I'll always have the VODs up. You can always tune in and check it out. Indeed. But yes, if there's definitely a darker path to power through the worship of the more evil gods, I'll first off be interested to see how you get into that, because I don't think it's going to be a straightforward process. I think you're probably going to have to do a bit of searching for secrets and finding out just what that darker path is, so it can show you where it goes. But I'll also be interested to see what abilities come out of it, because I know that the regular gods are going to get augments, which will change certain abilities of yours. And I'd love to see just what the evil gods might have in store. Have I ever played D&D? Would be super fun to have this in a session or two. You know, Bartik, I've actually played D&D since the days of 3.5. I've actually played D&D, I've played Pathfinder, I've played World of Darkness. I haven't played Rifts yet. I really, really want to play Rifts, but I don't think anybody ever runs it because it's kind of a obtuse system. Or it could require you to corrupt yourself too. Oh, now that would be interesting. To have to corrupt yourself to a certain point before you can enter into the religion? Oh. I wonder what kind of payoffs you would get at that point. That seems like it would be kind of risky. Guessing you'll probably need some quests as well after you've found your way to it. Probably. I have no doubt that all of the religions and social organizations are going to require some sort of questing. It just makes sense to me, you know? Obtuse system, or we're talking about Shadowrun. That's another one I've played. You've never played Rifts? Just 3.5, then 4.0, then back to 3.0. I can see why you went back to 3.5. Pathfinder, and now you do 5th edition. The easiest to get people into. I have to agree, they've actually made it a lot easier to approach D&D with 5th edition. I like that they're expanding it out a little bit more now, that there's more options. I felt like it was kind of bland to start with. Now, it's nowhere near as in-depth as 3.5 was, but I feel like 5th edition can get there in time, and also be a bit more easier on the bookkeeping. I, however, am a big fan of Pathfinder. I like my numbers crunching. .5 ended up being too crunchy? I could definitely see that for some people. I'm the type who really likes my bookkeeping when it comes to characters, so it was right up my dark alley. So let's see, what have we talked about so far? We've talked a little bit about the nodes. We talked about religion. We talked about classes. We talked about guild. Oh, we didn't talk about guilds. We talked about making a guild, but we haven't talked about guilds. So, the same way that you can level up your character and customize it, you can also level up your guild. Now, here's the kicker, is that guilds will have variable membership levels. Right now in Alpha, we're looking at guilds with around, starting out 30 members. And you can only have 30 members in the guild. One of the things you'll be able to level up in the guild is the amount of members you can have. But by doing that, you're going to be missing out on abilities that will be able to make guild members more powerful or more efficient at doing certain tasks, like gathering, crafting. I think that's a pretty good system, in my opinion. Definitely gives you some incentive to go out and make some hard choices with your guild. Now, because I'm a content creator, I'm probably going to be like, oh, the main guild is going to be like 300 people. I feel like with the lead up to the game, that the community will grow to a point where we'll probably need that extra space. And we might take the hit stat-wise for it, but we're a community. It'll be fun to play with everyone. Even if it will be like herding cats to kind of coordinate. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and take a look at that. See if there's something I'm missing. Doing quests related to the guild will probably level up the guild. So that's the cool thing, Tick, is that basically when you're in the guild, whatever you're doing is going to contribute to the XP of the guild. So, if you go out and you grind mobs, you get XP for the guild. If you go out and you craft things, you get XP for the guild. I'm not sure if harvesting gives you XP. If it does, it'll probably give you XP for the guild. If you go out and you PvP, and if that gives you XP, it'll probably give you XP for the guild. 5 tactical dragons on my mark. But let me see for a second. Are guild emblems going to be how I think they are? An active GM will be monitoring user-created content. Users who upload inappropriate content. Ah! Look at that! Import of user-created image content is being considered. This was previously not under consideration. Ooh! If that goes through, and man, do I hope it does, we could be sporting the violet sign on all of our gear once we get up and going. Now, wouldn't that be something? Exactly. Those who want to progress don't have to sacrifice time to contribute to the guild. I think it's a really good balance. But I do think there will be... Will there be guild quests? Are there slated to be guild quests? We can have patron guilds. So if a guild contributes the most to a node, they can become the patron of that node. I'm not seeing guild quests. Can we sport tactical bad dragon cosmetics? Nope, because I'm pretty sure depictions of bad dragons will be against TOS. So nope, that meme will have to die. Let me see. So we'll have guild ladders, so guilds will be able to be ranked. That could be something we could work towards. That'd be pretty interesting to see the violet sign pop up in guild rankings. I feel like when you're doing quests for social organizations, or even if you're just doing regular quests, that the XP from those might contribute to the guild as well. But here's one of the things I'm really looking forward to. So remember when I said there was player housing before, right? That you could buy inside of the node. Well, those houses are going to be limited. Of course, you can always buy instanced housing in apartments, but there's a third type of housing in Ashes of Creation called freeholds. And basically, what a freehold will be is property outside of the actual cityscape of a node. Basically, it's a plot of land that you'll be able to acquire for a certain price. Now, one of the things you can do with freeholds is you can establish your own house, your own tavern, or, and here's where the guild comes into play, your own guild house. Now, there can be a guild freehold, or inside of the city, there will be guild houses that will be purchasable. Now, those guild houses that are purchasable, as the node upgrades, the first tier, or the first set of guild houses, and regular houses, will have the ability to upgrade to a next tier as another wave of houses open. So the earlier you get in, the bigger your housing will be able to grow as that node grows. You thought there would be a guild house because, well, anime. Of course. But the fact that there will actually be able to be physical guild houses, non-physical, non-instanced guild houses. As in, you walk through the front door, you don't hit a loading screen, you just walk in the guild house. That will be something interesting. Could you imagine if we had managed to pool our resources, get a guild house in a level 3 node, and then, as that node grows into a metropolis, we're able to have one of the largest guild houses in that server, or not in that server, in that node, proudly sporting the violet sign. That would be an achievement. Is it likely to happen? Who knows? We'd have to see if we're really competitive or not. But worst case scenario, we can always get a freehold outside of the node. We'll have the most ghoulish guild house. Ooh. Don't get me all excited like that. I've got a little bit of coffee left in this. Perfect. Benefits: guild halls unlock actions a guild can perform inside of a node. So it looks like guilds that want to do certain things in nodes will have to get to that level where we can unlock a guild house. Exactly, Kessler. Having a Violet Sign Cathedral would be a wickedly awesome ambition to have. And it's something that community could work towards as a whole. And that's one of the things I'm really loving about this game, and why I wanted to share it all with you, is because it's not just an MMO with dungeons and raids. It's literally an MMO that's built for communities. And I think that's one of its biggest strengths, is because, yes, players are what populate an MMO and allows it to make money, but I believe that communities are what allow MMOs to continue to survive and thrive. You see, you can play solo, but eventually, unless you're a super hardcore dedicated solo player, you're going to get bored. I mean, that's pretty much been my MMO career. is I'll play a game solo, sometimes join a community. The community dies out, I'll go back to playing solo for a little bit, but I get bored. I don't have any real investment in it other than time sunk. Like, I don't log in and have anybody to play with. I don't have those wonderful memories to share with other individuals of things that we've achieved. Ashes, on the other hand, if we, as the Violet Sign community, can build something together, create those memories, and really be emotionally invested in a game, I think that's something wonderful. That's also part of the reason, as we get more members and monetary support from the channel, and things like that, I want to open things like Minecraft servers or 7 Days to Die servers, things like that. So we have a place where we as the community can gather, interact, and play together. Yes, I'm a content creator. I'm busy. I can't always be on playing games. But the whole reason I wanted to become a content creator was to establish the Violet Sign community, to have people to play with, all of you to play with. And I think that this game will be one of those games that we can play together and create something wonderful, something that for years to come we'll be remembering. Sorry, I went off on kind of an emotional tangent there for a second. I got all sappy on you. But that's the truth of the matter, and that's why I'm really excited for this game. It's a community game at its whole. And I think communities make good games into great games. And while I really want Ashes to be a English. I forgot how to English for a second. It seems the Eldritch mutations are getting to my ability to speak. Exactly. Most who have played MMOs have had those such moments. And yours to type, the curse spreads! The curse is spreading! But, like I was saying, as much as I want to fanboy over Ashes of Creation, the sad fact of the matter is that there's a lot of promises, and it's still in development. I'm not going to say, this is going to be the greatest MMO of all time and change the landscape of MMORPGs. That would be rather disingenuous. There's a lot that needs to still be done. And it is in the works. And I do think Intrepid Studios can make it a good game. I hope it's a great game. But I think even if they just make it a good game, if they're able to install these systems that allow communities to form and act as communities to work towards goals, that, even if it's just a good game, will make it a great game. That'd be a really nice treat to have. You didn't have many online interactions when you were young, as you mostly played on consoles, without online membership. I can definitely understand that, and I hope that as this game moves forward, and we're able to see more of it, we do get to see more of these systems, and it does move towards that game where we can build that community and have those experiences. Because I'm going to be honest, trying to take down some gigantic fire dragon as we all run around like chickens with our heads cut off is something I'm really looking forward to. We're probably going to wind up in a lot of XP debt. But boy, if we can make it fun, that just makes it all worth it. All right, dear, have fun. Thanks for stopping by. I hope to see you in the comments and in the chats later on. Ingo, hello, how you doing? Glad you could make it out to the Scream. Yeah, you're right. And the community of ASC is mostly really good so far, from all the people I've seen interacting. Exactly. I think Ashes has a really good community as its base. A lot of people are hyped for Ashes, undoubtedly. But a lot of people are practicing of curbing that hype. Because, well, let's be honest, MMO players haven't really been treated the best by the industry. We even get individuals like Asmongold, whose bread and butter is MMOs, and man, is he more than willing to call out some of the crap that he has to deal with, both as a player and as a, oh my god! Johnny! Johnny, thank you for the raid! I greatly appreciate it! Jellyjaw, 3-time world champ! Oh, Johnny definitely is a champ, I can tell you that. Mods, can we get a shout out for Johnny, please? So in case any of you don't know Johnny, Johnny is another VTuber, and also quite the accomplished individual. Made his own model and everything. He's also a member of the JCC community, the same as me. Wow, look at all of these follows. Barry, thanks for the follow. Otis, the Censored Crusader. Megan, Travinix, Gooby Dooby, thanks for the follow, and welcome to the Scream. Sunshine, thank you for the follow. So for those of you who are new here and don't know me, I'm Cabal, your favorite frightening, caffeinated cultist and hooded horror host. I deal in all things sinister and spooky, as well as various games. Right now, we're talking about Ashes of Creation, an upcoming MMO that I'm quite excited for, and I'm looking forward to building a community in. Seablade! I see an alien booster. Party Cat, King of the Horde. Thank all of you for the follows. You love my voice and model? Thank you very much. I'm glad you like to indulge in my terrifying tones. You didn't realize I was streaming? Up every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 10 a.m. EDT. Today I started a little bit late. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and I woke up and I was just kind of feeling like garbage. There was also some internet issues that were going on, and there's also a bit of loudness going on, so it wasn't really a good environment to start the stream in. I had to wait a little bit for things to quiet down. Is that a Killer 7 sound effect? Are you talking about my follow prompt? No, that's me. Oh my god, you actually laugh like that. That's amazing. I'm glad you enjoy the cackle. I really enjoy my cackles. I feel like I have a good time. Zozo, you're here. Hello. I'm glad you could make it out. How are you doing? Did we ever get that shout out for Johnny? Is Johnny even still in chat, or did he make like an amoeba and split? Mods, if we could, can we get a shout out for Johnny if he's still in chat? And also, could we get a shout out for Zozo as well? Zozo! If you don't know Zozo, Zozo is also a fellow VTuber, but also a fellow haunt actor. Ooh! Barry the Bugbear, you like my voice? Well, I'm glad. Anybody who indulges in my terrifying tones is a friend of the Violet Sign. In fact, the cult is accepting new members at the moment, so if you're looking for a cult centered around cosmic game devs, then you've come to the right place. Watching an anime, rent a girlfriend. While Protag doesn't seem to be a self-insert, wouldn't be surprised if the plot was based on true facts. I have never heard of that one. You should break out your vocal range and laughs on stream eventually. I feel like everybody enjoys a good bit of voice acting. How many sacrifices to join the cult? We're not that kind of cult. The only thing you have to sacrifice is a little bit of your time and maybe some Doritos and Holy Mountain Dew. After all, this is a cult of the gaming gods, the inhuman deities who've created all of these digital dimensions that we view as video games. And it's my goal to spread their message and crack the veil of reality so they too can unleash their unearthly will upon our dimension. And usher in an unending age of darkness, madness, and memes. You've only got sugar cookies and sweet tea. Does that work? That's fine. The gaming gods aren't picky. You sacrifice some Gamer Girl bathwater. No idea why they... I'm sorry. I just found that far, far too funny. Exactly. Oh God, why? What are your pronouns, if you may ask? How's your day? You can call me he, him, it, they, them. It doesn't particularly matter to me. What? Oh no, not the pony in the jar! Quick, block it out! Block it out! There'll be no, the gaming gods don't want pony in jars. That's a big nope. You're quite surprised I haven't heard of Rent a Girlfriend. Lots of memes have been made about it. Comparing the main girl to Ozara Subaru. That name sounds familiar, but I can't place it. I don't actually watch a lot of anime. I'm more of a manga reader. I like my ability to sit back and be quiet and read things. You can call me anything, but don't call me late for dinner. Pretty much. I do enjoy me some dinner. See? Mango knows my pain. But anyways, so what were we talking about? We were talking about, Ashes of Creation. That's right. So, yes, one of the things we'll be able to do once the game is the Duck of... Hollow Duck. Gotcha. You're back? What are we talking about? We're still on the subject of guild houses. Know your pain? You should. You're one of them. That's definitely accurate. You are one of my pains, Bjorn. Hold on a second. You definitely are, Bjorn. Look at what you've made me do. You made me go and use my hotkeys. Why would you do this to me? Anyways, let's get back to guild houses. Oop, there we go. But yeah. So, I should... Somebody make him stop. But what was I talking about? Before we were so kindly rated by Johnny. Oh yeah, that's right. Ashes of Creation. So, my brain shorted out on me for a second. I'm trying to piece together the remnants of my shattered sanity. But indeed, so guild houses. One of the things we'll be able to work towards once Ashes of Creation hits full release is getting a hold of those guild houses and being able to style them up. I definitely like the idea of the cult of the Violet Sign Cathedral. If we can do that, that's, oh man, that's going to be something. Indeed, we got raided by Johnny Jellyjaw, a friend of mine and a fellow member of the JCC Discord community. Speaking of which, if any of you are content creators or aspiring content creators looking for advice, if you can go and check out Jusaki-chan on YouTube. It's a friend of mine, and he also leads the JCC Discord community. It's also Ellie and Booster are leaders in that community as well. It's a community based around providing advice and experience to new and aspiring content creators, from those who have kind of been around the block a couple times. Oh no. But anyways, yeah, so what I was talking about. Guild houses and freeholds. Yes. So one of the cool things about nodes that you will have these guild houses in is that when a node is leveled up, if there's a particular race that has contributed more than the others, that node will take on aspects of that race. So say if this node is mainly populated by dwarves, and people who play dwarves have contributed the most to a node leveling up, all of the buildings and everything in that node is going to have a dwarven aesthetic to it. It's the same with orcs, or humans, or elves, or even the Tolnar. And oh, does the Ashes community love to hate on the Tolnar. They're essentially, how do I put this? Underground beast people. They survived the apocalypse that overtook Vera and have basically, they were a mix of races to start with, but now they've all become essentially one race in the Tolnar with different animal aspects to them. They're not furries. And they're not going to be cat girls or boys. Moles? Actually, let's go ahead and look. Yeah, they're more or less mole people, but not actually moles. They'll have mammalian aspects to them, but they'll also be able to have reptilian aspects to them. The Tolnar. So these were some old silhouettes that they had of the Tolnar, of kind of like what they were going for with design. I think at the moment they're kind of being reworked, but you can see there's, at the time, there was insectoid Tolnar, reptilian Tolnar, probably more mammalian, like almost baboon-like Tolnar. There's a Tolnar with digitigrade feet. I wonder if there's going to be aquatic type Tolnar. Like almost kind of like cavefish. That would be interesting. Ah, here we go. Here's some older silhouettes as well. Oh, that's kind of small. I'll have to... There we go. Essentially, yes, humanoids with animalistic features, but they're going to be more beast people, and they've already... The Ashes of Creation was like, woo, furries! And then the dev team was like, no, they're not furries. Personally, I don't have a problem with it, but, you know... With powers resembling animal counterparts, maybe. I think one of the things is when you choose your race, you'll get... So it's like a 10% furry. Maybe. I don't, it's definitely not dangerously furry. But essentially, when you choose a race, how I was talking earlier about having your abilities, well, you'll also have racial augments. The same way that you'll be able to choose your secondary archetype and augment your existing abilities with aspects of that secondary archetype. So like, oh, I'm a rogue, and I choose the summoner class. Well, maybe I have a backstab, and now when I backstab somebody, it creates a shadow clone that helps me double team this individual, but it's still a backstab. It doesn't change the base ability, it just adds something to it. One of the things you'll be able to get, if I remember correctly, is racial augments. So it'll be a ways that you can augment your abilities based off of your race. And so who knows what that'll be with the Tolnar. Maybe you'll have venomous spit and you can lick a blade to give you some poison damage. Or, I don't know, maybe something different. But yes, so the different races, if a majority of one contributes to a node more than another, the node will take on aspects of that race's architecture. So not only will nodes look different on nodes be different on all the servers, but the nodes will all look different as well. And that will probably apply to guild houses. Now, where I'm going with that is with freeholds and guild houses. Did you think that there was only going to be cosmetics for your character? Well, I've got good news. There's not cosmetics just for your character. There's going to be cosmetics for mounts. There's going to be cosmetics for your houses. Cosmetics for your freeholds. Cosmetics for workstations in your freehold. Essentially, you'll be able to customize your holdings and your character to more or less your heart's content. So, if it's a game, if you're one of the people who like to go out and collect all the cool things that you can change your clothing and other things into, might be right up your alley. A Cabal statue, perhaps. You know? If that's a thing, that would be pretty cool. Falcor, hi, and welcome to the live stream. You found a table about furry ratios we could use to catalog these Tolnar. You'll put it in the Discord. Oh man, I've seen that table. So one of my things is I actually want to play a Tolnar because I want to play a lizard person. And hopefully, as a joke, like I don't want to actually be a leader of a node, but maybe get elected as a leader of a scientific node. So at that point, I could be like, lizard people run the node! Illuminati! Just for the memes. I want to be a lizard person that runs a node just for the memes. Oh, that cracks me up every time. I love that joke. I tickle myself just a bit too much. So, one of the other things that guilds can do, I've told you there are nodes, right? But nodes can't control, or guilds can't control nodes. Nodes have elected leaders, depending on what their system is, or system of governance is. Get the holy water. Cabal wants to be a robe of scaly. Actually, if they have kind of undead type Tolnar, that's what I'm going to do. I'd rather be a ghoul than a scaly. But if my choice is between being a regular Joe or being a lizard, Illuminati lizard person, I'm going to be an Illuminati lizard person. And besides, I'm a streamer. I already have a target painted on my back. So why not just go ahead and be a Tolnar and have even more of a target painted on my back? That way we'll have even more people to ambush. It's a win-win situation. As someone who covers conspiracy nutbags, that's too close to home. Well, I'm a cultist. Of course I'm going to be a little bit of a conspiracy nutbag. Pain equals content. Yes, I know there's a subsection of furries. That's not my particular internet culture. But I am versed in the ways of the internet, so I know about it. But anyways, what I was getting to. Like I said before, guilds can't control nodes. They can become patrons of nodes, yes. But the leaders of nodes are elected through their various governance systems depending on their types. However, there is territory that guilds can control. And that's where we get into the subject of guild castles. You see, much like metropolises, there's only going to be a certain number of castles on the map. The castles won't need to be built up, they'll just be there. But they'll start out infested by monsters, and you'll have to get a raid together to clear them out and take hold of the castle. Why, no matter where I go, someone always brings up something about furries. It's the internet eclipse. It's going to happen. People like what they like. I don't have a problem with it. But, like I was saying, guilds will be able to take over guild castles. And there's a... Let me check real quick. So, here's the kicker. Is once a guild takes over a castle, their guild leader becomes a king or a queen and gains control over 1/5 of the game world surrounding that castle, because there's going to be 5 castles in total, and essentially that area becomes your quote-unquote kingdom. Now, what happens when a guild takes over a castle? Well, essentially at that point, they'll have nodes that they'll have to build up. Not only that, but the guild will also receive taxes from those areas that are under their influence. Now here's the thing though, you'll be able to set the taxation rate. If you're particularly tyrannical, you're probably going to be overthrown rather quickly. Because there will be a timer of when the castle is able to be assaulted by players and possibly be taken over by a different organization. Cabal Stream in a nutshell. Cabal tries to keep the herd of cats that are his cultists focused, but usually fails because he finds the distractions too fun. That's accurate. It's very accurate. Stunningly so. But you know what? It's all about having fun, isn't it? Exactly, Tick. It doesn't matter what you are, we're all under the uncaring gaze of the gaming gods. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, taxes. So, two things you can't escape, death and taxes. But if a guild controls a guild castle in Ashes of Creation, they'll be able to fill their guild coffers with taxes that they collect from the areas that fall under their influence by holding that castle. The system seems to be easily exploited if there's anything pay to win on it. Well, you're in luck, Mango, because the creative director and owner of the company is decidedly against pay to win, and he has final say on everything. Not only that, but he's an MMO veteran who's had it up to here with pay to win. He's, you have to pay taxes? Yes, if you're a citizen of a node, you'll have to pay taxes. It'll be set by the mayor. Also, if you follow the influence of a kingdom, because a guild controls a castle that you're in, you'll have to pay taxes from that as well. Actually, no, I don't think the players will have to pay taxes to the kingdom. I think the nodes themselves will be taxed. So the taxes that go into the nodes will then be taxed by the holders of the castle. But that's also motivation for you just live off the land and live tax-free? That's a good question. What do you want to do in Ashes of Creation? I want to commit tax evasion! Finally, an MMO where we can commit tax evasion. Indeed. At least I hope. That would be interesting, though. Where do you call home, citizenry? I live in a place that has no taxes. Because screw that. I decided not to become a citizen. It would be fun if the frontiers of these nodes could dynamically change. It would be fun if What do you mean by if the frontiers of these nodes could dynamically change? Because one of the things is I think, according to how players interact with the node, the mobs and things around it will actually change. Not to compare games, but I recall a game with a similar tax system. And the basic consensus was to kill anyone who was king, so there was no taxes at all. The anarchy route. You know, I could see that happening. I think that's also a way to encourage fair taxes or extremely low tax rates. I guess if you don't fix residents in any location, you'll have a lot of quests capped from you. I'm not sure. I think there'll be some things that you're missing out on, but if you want to be a nomad, I think that's going to be a valid play style. Exactly! Usurp the throne! Cabal for king! No taxes! I think these realms or nodes have some kind of frontier between one another. You could turn it on an MMO version of Crusader Kings 2 with all the insane things. So the size of the nodes, the actual like territories that's considered in like node A or node B or whatever, they're actually fixed. That will always be that node's territory. What happens though with the nodes is that they have a vassal system. And essentially what happens is when a node levels up, when a node, it starts at level 0, which is basically just flatland. There's nothing there, no anything. It's just wilderness. You can level up a node by doing things in it, whether it be quests, gathering, dungeons, killing mobs. Essentially, anything that you do in that node is going to contribute XP to it. And as the XP flows into the node, it will upgrade. All nodes can go from level 0 to level 2. Now, what happens is when a node hits level 3, it locks the other nodes around it. So they can't progress past level 2. What happens, however, is when that node levels up to level 4, I believe those nodes can at that point then level up to level 3, and so on and so forth, and yada yada yada. Will the nodes be on the same location every server? From what we've heard so far, yes. The nodes and their types will be the same on every server, but it will be player decision and influence that will decide which nodes go which route on each server. Each server is going to wind up probably looking pretty different. Probably about a year in. I think at the start, just because there are starting locations, that those starting locations will probably build up first. You vote for the guild to be in the snow-capped mountains if possible. Just imagine a king on this game simultaneously being insane, son of a sister, and married to his daughter. Wait a second. Is that from something? I'm trying to figure out what that's from, but I don't know. Huh. Let me think. Oh, it can happen in Crusader Kings. Okay. But yeah. There's a lot of things that guilds will be able to do, not just in customizing themselves, but also the land around them and the places that they're... Sounds like some Habsburg stuff right there. Probably. But yeah, that's more or less Ashes of Creations in a nutshell. It's been quite the game to follow, and I'm looking forward to how it pans out. I think it's going to be definitely something that we as a community can look at and really, really have some fun with. Let me look at something real quick. Do I have anybody? Huh. You know what? What time is it? It's coming up on 2 o'clock. I've got to get to editing some videos. So who wants to go on a raid? And if anybody has any suggestions for a raid, I'd be more than open to them. I need a bigger window for this. I've got 3 screens, and it's still not enough. Indeed. Tick has the, Tick has the raid message in there. It'd be interesting in the game if the devs put in global events like invasions to let players fight together. So, while I'm setting up this raid, let me talk on that for a second. There are going to be invasions and global events. There's a system in the game called the monster coin system. And essentially, it's going to be when monsters invade a node or something like that. And you'll have to fight off the invasion. Now, one of the cool things is when you fight off this invasion, you'll have a chance to get something that's called a monster coin. And it's... Alright, well, have a good one, Chase. Martin, you have a good one as well. You know what? I think we'll go ahead and we'll do this. We're going to raid my friend, Bane, that I was talking about earlier.
Hammer.
Exactly. There you go, Tick. Fane's on, let's raid him. Let me go ahead and change this. But essentially, when you beat that invasion, you'll get a monster coin. And what you can then do is later on, when another invasion happens, you can turn yourself into a raid boss. And join in on that raid. Join in that monster invasion or another node. Or another mode. Ooh, heard myself for a second. I didn't like it. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you've had fun with this, and I'll look forward to telling you more about Ashes of Creation while I alpha test it. It really does. I'm going to look forward to sharing more information on it. Keep your eyes posted, or keep your eyes peeled. I'll be streaming again Friday, and after the stream, I should have another Friday night special popping up on YouTube if you want to watch that. But until then, have you seen the violet sign?